What's up, everybody? I have another mix breakdown for you. The song's called Undeveloped from my band Secret Menu, and we're going to go deep dive into all the tracks and the channels and go over all the things I'm doing in this mix, how it was recorded, all of the fun things that make this song happen. So let's dive in and check it out. We're just going to start at the beginning here, and the chorus doesn't come in till later, but we'll get the general idea of how the song sounds. So here we go. See, there's lots of automation happening here.
You never know the words until they're drawn. The time has come to face when now is done. So far gone, the wars we lost, the battles won. Happiness like a loaded gun and a photo undeveloped in the sun. A hole inside your heart will heal but burn. In the sun.
Alright, so before we get to the chorus, we hear that this is kind of a rock synth pop track. It's got drums and guitar and keys and bass and vocals, obviously. So I think the first thing we should do is break down the keys, because the keys to me are the driving force for this song. So let's solo up the synth tracks and we'll start from the top again. And let's see. So we have this cool like reverse tape sound. Check that out. Let's expand these here. So there's like 3 layers happening. We get a grand piano coming in as well. So there's really 4 layers of keys happening in this song already right off the bat. There's that piano. So we got like an EP. Probably the big one, the synth there. Oh, and then this other synth layer giving it a texture. So all of it together makes this just gigantic keyboard sound that, in my opinion, drives the song. I mean, this is the hook for me. The next thing I'm hearing is the bass is really chugging along forward too. Let's hit the bass in the beginning here. And then we just have the guitars that fill out more of that high-end energy, this like spacey type of feel. Before we get to the channels and like the mix breakdown itself, like the actual settings and plugins and that sort of stuff, let's just go through a chorus here and hear what that sounds like and break down the elements of that, and then we'll get into the details. So here comes the chorus here. We'll actually play the pre-chorus into the chorus.
Getting closer, long exposure.
So let's check out the vocals. I think that was the biggest thing that got added, was all these vocal layers in the chorus. So let's just hear that a cappella once.
Let me take a photograph with you this time I won't keep it safe, developing with you this time.
So lots of more of these dense vocal harmonies in this track. The first interesting thing that I find about this song, as far as a mix standpoint, is actually in the drums. And the reason I'm going to point this out is because I actually have two different drum tracks recorded. There's like an intro and chorus drum sound, and then I have something here called V drums, which is verse drums. So I actually recorded a second take for the verses so that the sound of the drums in the verse is different from the sound of the drums in the chorus. And I muted my snare for the verse because I wanted this like kind of dense, thick, dry snare sound. So let's check that out. Let's play from part of the intro or like the intro drums into the verse drums, and you can hear the difference here. We'll just solo the drums. And then here comes the verse. Totally different, right? Muted snare. And the mixing is different as well. I didn't do nearly as much EQ and compression to these. This is a lot more, as you could say, raw sounding. There's hardly any like plugins going on here. It's just maybe a little EQ on each channel. And there comes the chorus drums again. Much bigger sounding. While we're on the drums, let's go through what I'm doing to the drums. So going through all the channels here, I just have these big low shelves on the overheads. And then, oh, that's interesting. I did different EQ for the ride and the hat instead of matching them. We got the kick EQ. There's nothing else going on with the kick drum. There's just EQ, so there's no compression on the kick in or the kick out. It's just looks like a little bit of gating here on the kick out. But I mean, that's all I needed to do to the kick. It's kind of an ugly kick drum sound now that I go back to it. The snare is this I had some issues with, so I had to pull out a whole bunch of gross overtones and do some corrective EQ before I did even more EQ. So apparently I EQ'd the hell out of the snare. And then we're looking at some more EQ. Jesus. So I have lots of EQ on the snare drum. Apparently I did not like what I recorded. So I did a lot more work to this one than I've had in the past. So we have lots of EQ, probably doing some saturation here with the API channel. The compressor's on too. I'm just way over compressing the snare most likely. And same thing with the snare side mic, which was one of these condensers actually. Snare top was a Sennheiser 604, whatever those clip-on drum mics are. So we're just doing saturation and EQ on this as well, and there's a lot of it. So if you look through all of the different things here, it's just a ton of EQ and compression on the snare. So apparently I did not like the snare that I recorded. And the toms, we got some pretty typical EQ for toms, a little bit of gating, some Pultec to give it whatever the Pultec did to this, nice and maybe some thickness, a little bit of top end on both of the toms, a little bit more low end on the floor tom, it looks like. And then I have a crotch mic, it looks like. So we threw some sort of mic in the middle of the drum kit, maybe, or I actually don't remember where this mic was. So the room mics and the crotch mic, I believe, all get bussed to this drum room here. And to the drum room, We're doing some EQ. We're cutting a bunch of the cymbals out. This is a small room, so I always have problems with cymbals. And then we are running through this tape saturation thing. So let's see what just the room mics sound like. And we're throwing a lot of it to these reverbs. So here's what it sounds like without the reverbs. Yeah, and then the drum bus, we have, looks like I'm EQing out a whistly cymbal sound. We have a couple of small moves on the drum bus there. And some tape saturation. This is off. Okay, never mind. So we're not tape saturating the drum bus. So the last thing here on the drum bus is the API 2500. I got this recently and I've been loving it. I almost want a real one, but the plugin sounds pretty good. So we've been going with that on drum bus in the past couple of mixes that I've been doing. I've just been loving it. Moving on to guitars. This guitar sound is pretty simple. We have a great guitarist, Andrew, and he is playing this fun, spacey thing. And there's a little bit of chugging in some of the parts as well. So let's just play here and I'll go through what we got recorded. So this is 3 mics. We did 2 takes on this, a left and a right. We have a 57. Or no, I'm sorry. This is a 421. So we have a Sennheiser 421, one of these 214s by AKG, and a ribbon mic. So I basically put 3 mics on the amp, so I had options to blend. I probably didn't, nope, there's no EQ on any of the channels, on any of the mics. There's probably just some bus processing. So on the guitars bus, we have the console one, little bit of cutting the upper mids, probably to make room for some vocals or keys, or maybe it was just a little pokey. And then we got some 1176 compression. We have some sheps, some saturation here, just making the guitar a little more exciting. And we have some imaging, making it a little phasey, a little wider, whatever this is doing. So that's all we're doing to the guitars. The guitars are pretty simple. We just recorded it right out the amp. We liked what we heard. I mixed the mics together and processed them a little bit to fit in the track, and that's it. The guitar is pretty simple. So, and then we can't forget about the guitar solo. So this is the same type of deal. I think we used the same amp, the same mics, everything, and we just recorded the solo the same day. So here is the guitar solo. Sending this to the effects. I mean, this is like this next section is screaming 80s rock for me. So this is getting thrown to the reverbs and the plate, and so this is like this big epic moment. Let's just play this part of the track in its entirety. Big drums. This part's cool. This is a lo-fi thing. I think he used his wah pedal. Let me open this up. So that's a couple of fun parts of the guitar. And there's an outro section too. Looks like we have a doubled version of the solo. He played it twice. Sounded pretty cool, so we kept it. remember right, the bass sound was a monster to put together. This is the bass coming in here. We get some nice distortion and presence and that low end support. And I'm doing a pretty common trick here with the low end where I'm compressing it a lot so that it's getting a lot of balance across the whole track. The low end can then be solid and consistent on the whole song. If I'm compressing this, I'm using this just as like the low end channel. I don't have any EQ. Oh, just kidding. I have a giant low pass. So this is just acting as our low end, and I'm compressing it a lot. And we're just getting this nice consistent low end from the bass the whole song. I think the last thing that we have to go over the processing on is the vocals. So let's take the lead vocal channel and we'll get Matt's verse here. This originally was Matt's song that he brought to the band, and he sings a verse by himself on it, and it's pretty cool. So props to Matt for this awesome vocal performance. And here it is, verse 2, and we'll just hit solo here on the vocal.
A hole inside your heart will heal but burn. There's no one here to teach me how to learn.
So I'm just cleaning up a little of that low end mud here.
Who I am alone again. How do I climb that hill within? Was all my worth tied into love and a photo undeveloped?
Some air with a
in the sun.
Yeah, so just some EQ, some 12K with the Pultec, and then we're piping it out to the Bluey limiter over here from Blackline Audio. Love that thing. And then we're sending it to some verbs, and that's it. We got Raph here in the first verse.
Memories that feel so far gone, birds until they're drawn.
And this mic's a WA-47.
The time has come to face when now is done.
From Warm Audio.
The memories that feel so far gone, the wars we lost, the battles won. Happiness like a loaded gun and a photo undeveloped in the sun.
The doubles, I'm doing a lot of de-essing here, and the same type of EQ where we're just, cutting a little bit of this. Oops, here. There's the doubles here. A little bit of the EQ.
A hole inside your heart will heal but burn.
And then we just have some plug-in compression for the backups, squeezing those down. And again, a lot of de-essing, because when you have doubles that aren't perfectly aligned, you can really hear it from the S's and the sibilants in the take. So de-essing will help your doubles blend a little bit more if they're not quite on time. Aside, obviously you should time edit, or you should just have the performance be good in the first place. But when it comes to getting those doubles to really sit in with the main vocal, I find that de-essing helps a lot. Like heavy de-essing.
Let me take a photograph with you. This time I won't lose. Keep it safe, developing with you. This time.
So you can see we're hitting at least -6 on a lot of those S's on the doubles and the background vocals, whatever's busing to these buses here. Yeah, so that's all I got for this mix breakdown. The song's called Undeveloped by Secret Menu. You can check it out. I got links below. It's on Spotify, Apple Music, all those things. If you like this video, please like it. Comment down below if there's anything that I should do different, or if maybe you want to hear a little more about any of my processes, or if you're curious about anything else that I'm doing here. I'd love to answer your question below or make a video about it. So anyways, hope you got something out of this video, and until next time, peace out.